Grand Rapids has been called one of the most affordable mid-sized cities in the U.S. Now, I want to talk more about what does that actually mean for your wallet? How does that affect your commute? How does that affect your grocery bill? Today we're going to talk about that some more and break it all down. Now, if you were moving, what expenses matter the most to you? What cost of living things are most important to you? Let me know in the comment section down below, and let's dive into the video talking about the cost of living in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So welcome to the video. I'm Joel. I'm your local West Michigan realtor, and today we're going to talk about the cost of living in Grand Rapids. First and foremost, I want to talk about probably your biggest expense, and that's going to be the expense of housing. Are you interested in renting and having some flexibility, or are you interested in purchasing a house and starting to build equity right away? You might be surprised to know that the cost of renting versus a mortgage payment is not that far off. And that's something I think you want to consider as you are thinking about moving or living in Grand Rapids. Let's break that down a little bit here and see what the numbers are like. Now, Grand Rapids has a median home price of around $250 to, I would say, more like $275, and that is going to be a bit lower than if we're looking at the entire United States wide, which is sitting somewhere around that $330,000 to $50,000 mark. So that's a great plus starting off. If you're looking to rent, I would say a modest 2-bedroom apartment, you're looking at $1,200 to $1,400, and then if you're looking for something a little bit more modern and more trendy, you're probably looking closer to that $2,000 mark for rent. Now, I mean, I can speak from personal experience in living on the west side of Grand Rapids. My mortgage payment was similar to that as the rent, like I mentioned before. So I think you got to think that through a little bit and determine, is that flexibility going to be more important to me, or do I want to start putting away that equity right away? Like I mentioned earlier, it's something you got to think about, and they're kind of close to each other, and it's important to take a minute and think about your near future. Are you looking to, maybe you want to move around to a couple different neighborhoods in Grand Rapids and get a feel for each of them. What do you think is more important, buying or renting? And let me know why as well. Okay, so we've talked about what is going to be one of your biggest expenses, and that's going to be housing. Are we buying? Are we renting? Next, let's dive into probably one of the second biggest expenses, and that is going to be groceries and food. A family of 4 is looking to spend around $850 to $950 a month for food. Now, according to my searches, that is a hair lower, maybe just a couple percent lower than the national average. But one thing I think that is fantastic about Grand Rapids and just West Michigan in general is that there's a lot of farmland around us. And so I have noticed that West Michigan is full of great farmers markets. So sometimes you can find more affordable and fresh food that way. Or if you're looking for something more, you want, you're real specific about the foods that you like to eat, and you want something that is organic and local, that is a great option to be able to do that as well. So a couple things to think about there when we're talking about the food expenses. And which one is more important to you? Do you want to go to the grocery store, or are you a farmer's market type of person? All right, one of the other big expenses is going to be your commuting and automotive expenses. So I would say in general, fuel costs may be slightly lower, maintenance cost pretty similar around the country, Grand Rapids. And keep in mind, Grand Rapids is one of those mid-sized cities, so it is very vehicle-based, car-based. Pretty much everybody owns a car. This isn't a city where you're going to have, the vast majority of people using the bus system. Now, the Dash and the Rapid, the other busing systems, are great and offer some awesome options for you there at affordable prices, but you'll find that most people own a vehicle. Now, I will not lie to you, one of the downsides of living in Grand Rapids, or really just in Michigan, is that we have pretty high insurance rates. And those are going to be a little bit higher than the average, but that's one of the things that you've got your pros and cons anywhere you're at, and unfortunately for us, that is one of the downsides. So pretty average. Everybody owns a car, pretty average cost to own and operate a car, except for the insurance side. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about your automotive and commuting expenses to live in Grand Rapids. Now, healthcare. Healthcare can also be another one of those big expenses, depending on your employer, obviously, as well, and depending on whatever healthcare needs you may or may not have. And obviously, I don't know what those are going to be specifics, but Grand Rapids has a very strong and big healthcare network in the area with Corewell Health. And so there's lots of great options and opportunities for those things here. But as far as the costs go, you're probably looking at maybe $400 a month before any employer contributions. And once again, I got to be careful with what I say there, because that is going to vary greatly depending on your employer, your needs, and things like that. So keep that in mind. It is, I would say, pretty standard, and there's nothing that really stands out as like, wow, it's significantly cheaper or significantly more expensive. I think we're pretty standard when it comes to the healthcare cost. So it is the year 2025, and I would be amazed and surprised if you didn't have internet as on your list of expenses. Grand Rapids, you're probably looking around $100 for a very good and strong internet bill. You've also got your other utilities, so we're talking water, and then you got your heat and electric and things like that. And those are all pretty standard, nothing too crazy on those. And we can break down those numbers here in just a second. So as we were talking about the electricity, the water, the trash, and your heat bills, I would say all those combined, you're looking at $180 to $220. Kind of depends on how many people are in the home, how often they're getting used, obviously. But I would say you can kind of mentally budget or prepare for around $200 with a little bit of wiggle room on each side of those. So next, let's move on to childcare and education. Now, Michigan is a school of choice state, which means as long as there's availability in that school, you can live in Holland and choose a school in Grand Rapids if you wanted to. But if you're looking at private schools, you're probably looking, I don't know, $5,000 to $10,000. Obviously, that's going to be a big range depending on the schools. But we've got great free public schools with a lot of different options. As I've mentioned in other videos, you've got towns like Rockford with incredible athletics and Byron Center, and then you've also got East Grand Rapids that ranks really highly in the state for schools. Something else to think about is going to be child care or daycare, and that's going to be probably $1,000 or more if you want full-time child care for a month. So there's a couple different areas there when we're thinking about schooling and child care and what those expenses and costs are going to look like for you. Next, let's chat about lifestyle. So eating out, you're looking at average probably $15 to $20 for your plate of food, and then on top of that, drinks are going to be on you. I would say if you're at one of those craft breweries that Grand Rapids is known for, that I've talked about in other videos, you're probably looking $5 to $7 a pint on that. So that kind of covers the food side of things. In terms of entertainment, there's lots of great free options, that's for sure, but then there's also some great paid options. I mean, you've got the DeVos Performance Hall, which has great music and things going on there. You've got the Van Andel Arena, that brings in, great big name stuff. And so those are going to be paid entertainment options, but, you got bigger concerts, so that could be something where you're going to pay $50 to $100 for a ticket going to a concert there. We've got some small town sports teams. We don't have any big National League teams, but we've got baseball, we've got hockey, we've got semi-pro soccer coming up soon, so that'll be exciting. So there's always free options, but then there's always some great affordable entertainment options for you as well. So that is a lot of information to take in about the cost of living of Grand Rapids. There's a lot of different factors to think about there. But the reality is Grand Rapids is a very enticing and competitive place to think about living when we're discussing expenses. We sit For the most part, on the lower side of the averages when we're talking about the whole United States. Like I mentioned, it's a great mid-sized city, and so we get some of those cost of living and affordability, we get a little bit lower on that. So that's fantastic to think about and compare when thinking about coming to live in Grand Rapids. So Grand Rapids is a fantastic city. It's very competitive. We've got housing prices, you know, like I said earlier, sitting in the median somewhere between that 250 even up to 300, and then for more premium houses, we can go up from there. But it's a great town, and it's a great mid-sized city in the U.S. with a lot of expenses sitting lower than your average cost of expenses across the United States. So there's lots of great pros on that side of things, and I want to know from you, if the perfect house came up tomorrow, would you hop on that? Or are you going to wait for a little bit better deal in just the right neighborhood or the right area where the expenses make the most sense to you? If you're thinking of moving to West Michigan, what expense interests you the most, or which one has you most unsure? Let me know in the comments and we can chat about that. Give me a call or text. As I said, will be in the info box and I'll have in the video as well. Yeah, so what expense interests you the most? Grand Rapids overall offers a very competitive and great cost of living when we compare it to the rest of the U.S. That's going to be it for this video. Like I said before, I am Joel. I am your local West Michigan realtor, and I would love to show you more about West Michigan and tell you about all the wonderful things that we have to offer. Give me a call or text, leave me a comment below, and let's chat about it. Take care.